Hey, awesome Monday! Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with What's She Up To Now, day 743. Oh my gosh, 743 days. Hopped on and talked about what I'm doing as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world to the online world. My original objective of starting this little daily thing was to document my journey as I duplicate my success from the offline corporate world to the online world. Now, if I'd achieved that already, I'd still be talking, but not every day. And I'd be sharing different lessons. Right now, I'm still on that journey. Why? Because I had a lot of success offline and in the corporate world. And now I'm finding, I thought it would be easy. I think my biggest lesson learned so far is I underestimated how much I would get in my own way with respect to duplicating that success and creating that success online. I was led to believe, and I believed it would be so easy, but then I got sucked in, like everybody else, into all of these learning loops and shiny object syndrome, and I fell into all of the traps that the vast majority of us fall into when we go online. And how I'm overcoming and learning to not fall into them is part of my journey. So today I'm thinking about being a blowhard because I talked for 10 minutes and 23 seconds on my Supersize Your Business piece. Now here's the deal. You gotta be under 10 minutes to share on different sites. And I like to take that piece of content and 25x it by sharing it in 25 different places. Well, a couple of those places, it won't share if it's over 10 minutes. And I thought about redoing it, and I'm like, nope, I don't redo my videos. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Facebook Live and I'm gonna cut off the last 23 seconds. Now, is that the best way to do it? Maybe not, but guess what? I guarantee the last 23 seconds are me flim-flamming around and saying, hey, if I can help you in any way, hit me up. Or what do you think about this? And I tend to drag that ending piece out, which is an area I need to improve in because I don't know why I drag it out. But I feel like a blowhard whenever I go over 10 minutes on a couple different segments of my videos. So, area of improvement, we always have them, right? I need to chop that off and figure out how to chop that off. I've done it once before, semi-successfully, but I don't know how to edit videos. Painful confession. I don't know how to edit videos. I don't want to learn how to edit videos. It's why I do live videos for a reason, because what you see is what you get. I personally think live videos are better. If you're looking for a super polished professional person, then go listen to people's videos that are edited and polished and professionally developed. I think that those are awesome, but how authentic are they? They're really not, are they? If somebody has got somebody out there, and this is just my opinion, if somebody is out there, and maybe someday I'll have polished, edited, smoking hot, fun videos that people, millions of people watch, but for right now, this is who I am, and this is who I'm becoming, and maybe I'm moving into that. Maybe that's what I'll do and be, and I'll think differently about it, because we change our thoughts, we change our beliefs, we change our feelings about things all the time if we're open to the possibility of things changing. But for right now, what you see is what you get. And I know that to cut off 23 seconds or 25 seconds from the end of my video will make no difference, because the probability of anybody listening to my videos all the way through is slim to none. For the one or two people that do, maybe they'll give me the feedback that says, hey, what happened to your video? It cut off at the end. And I'll know that next time I need to set a timer and make sure I don't go over 10 minutes or have a big giant clock or something. But where my setup is, since it's temporary and I'm moving, I don't have that set up right now. And most of the time, I don't talk about something for 10 minutes, but I obviously was a blowhard about cutting the mustard and capability and confidence and imposter syndrome and fake it till you make it, and action kills fear, the past does not equal the future, credentials, degrees, certifications, licensing does not necessarily guarantee or equal success. I have a whole lot of thoughts about hiring and feedback, all kinds of things. And so I was talking a lot about that with respect to cutting the mustard, because to cut the mustard means that you're capable of doing something. You're capable of meeting the requirements of something. Well, requirements mean they're outside of you expectations. And then, confidence comes into play in terms of, do we have the ability to meet other people's requirements or requirements outside of us? And I guess that in some way, shape, or form, credentials and certifications and degrees are proof that you have the ability to meet someone else's or outside requirements, right? If you get a college degree, you've obviously been able to meet the requirements of that program, that degree program. Does that mean you're going to be successful in a certain job or position? Absolutely not. Is it an indicator that you might have a better chance of being successful in that role than someone that's never gone through the requirements of getting a degree? Maybe, maybe not. But I think the majority of the world believes that there's a direct correlation there. And what I've found is that just because most people in the world believe something does not mean it's true. At least doesn't mean it's true for me. Might not be true for you. It might be, but it might not. We always have to ask ourselves, okay, I see this, I hear this, I understand how most people feel about this, but how do I feel about it? Is it true for me, right? May or may not be. And I think that's always the filter that I put on now is like, is this true for me? And sometimes it is. Sometimes I catch myself falling into some of the traps and bad habits that everybody else does, right? I have been known to Netflix binge, right? When I want to de-stress, I'll pop in front of the boob tube. I call it the boob tube because it is the boob tube, and I find that I can lose hours of time in front of it, which is why I gave up watching television a long, long time ago. But every once in a while, I will sit down and want to spend a Sunday watching some show on Netflix and going through a series. I have to admit, I do love Netflix and Hulu and things like that, where you can watch something, you can pick it out, you can watch it for a while. It's like a book. You can nowadays, didn't used to be able to do this, but it's like a book. You could read part of it, put it down, and then months later pick it up and pick up right where you left off. Well, they've done that with television nowadays, right? You can start to watch a show. You can, maybe I'm going to watch a show for 20 minutes a day while I'm exercising or doing something, while I'm doing sit-ups, which I should start doing sit-ups, which is why I thought of that, or crunches or whatever. Getting that middle-aged drift, right? So I guess I'm getting to over middle-aged, if I'm really being honest and admit that I'm getting old. I'm getting old. We're all getting older, right? What beats the alternative? If we're not getting older, we're probably dead. And I don't know, older is better than dead, at least in most of our estimations. So I can watch it for 20 minutes, and then I can turn it off. And then maybe in a week or the next day or whenever, I come back and I pick up right where I left off. It's pretty cool, right? It's very convenient. You don't have to fast forward. I remember when we had DVDs and CDs and cassette tapes and tapes, VHSs. I even remember VHS and beta. Remember that whole VHS beta thing? Probably not if you're young. You had to rewind and fast forward. You couldn't just stop. Although, actually, tapes like that, you could just eject the movie where you were and then take right back off on it. So that's probably where they decided that that was a cool feature. People like things to be convenient, right? I like things to be easy and convenient. I like things to be simplified and easier and faster and more effective. I mean, I'm always looking for ways to make those things work in my life. I'm always creating weird systems in every area of my life, not just in business. I always create systems that make each function in each area of my life easier. I have a morning routine. I have a bedtime routine. I have different times throughout the day where I actually do certain things a certain time during the day. Because it works for me, it makes me more efficient and more effective, and it makes my life go more smoothly for me. And it doesn't matter if my life goes more smoothly for anybody else except me, right? I need to set things up for me to succeed so that things work for me. And a lot of times we forget to do that. We're so busy responding to what happens in our world that we forget that we have the ability to step back and say, okay, well, I've made this mistake 4 times. I've been late for work 4 times in the last 2 months. What can I do to make sure I'm not going to be late? Now, there's things I can't control. I can't control the weather. I can't control traffic. I can't control certain things, but there are a lot of things that I can control. So instead of looking at what I can't control, I look at the things I do have the power to control. I can get up 15 minutes earlier. I can leave the house 15 minutes earlier. That will usually, and it won't guarantee it, if we have a blizzard, leaving 15 minutes earlier isn't going to ensure that I'm on time. I'll never forget, I went to a job interview and I was 2.5 hours late. Now there was a blizzard and a snowstorm, and I left 2 hours early, and I realized that I wasn't there at the 2-hour point. It was before cell phones, so I had to get off the road, go and call. And I called and I said, listen, I am only halfway there. I'm only halfway there, and I know I'm going to be late. Do you want me to still come, or should I turn around and go home? And the lady that was interviewing me said, no, come. You know, guess what? Most people couldn't even make it into work today, so everybody's running late. Would love to see you. And I think part of why I got the job is because, number one, I called and let them know I was in the snowstorm, but I was on my way. Number two, well, I had the job, I had the experience and the requirements to easily do the job, but I think because I showed the initiative to actually show up in spite of the circumstances, in spite of the challenges, that demonstrated that I would figure stuff out. I would make it happen, even if there were challenges and there were struggles along the way. I think that was a clear demonstration of that I had that ability to solve problems and figure it out and to make things happen and to do what I said I was going to do, even though I had challenges and obstacles in my way that were outside of my control. So thinking about that today, thinking about being capable and able to figure things out. There's always a way. As much as sometimes we doubt and we worry that we can't figure things out, we always figure things out. We're still here, right? We're still living. We're still waking up every day and doing what it is that we do. And even just surviving is figuring things out, right? So we're a lot more capable than we think that we are a lot of times. It's just a matter of having the confidence and knowing that no matter what happens, we're going to figure it out. No matter what happens, even our ego is, and our subconscious level is going to help us to survive darn near everything, right? So thinking about that, today it was a fun one for the fun day. It was snoring is a way to chase away monsters, and I freaking love that. I think that's just such a fun way of looking at snoring, especially since I have been known to snore, right? I think that a lot of us snore and we don't want to admit it. I mean, I never thought I was a snorer, but guess what? I'm sleeping. I don't know if I'm snoring or not. But the ex-husband used to say that I snored, and all the girls at Oktoberfest, we go to a celebration every year, a bunch of us women, and we go up north and stay at the cabin, and some of the rooms sleep more than one person. So we now have a snorer's room and a non-snorer's room, and I have been relegated to the snorer's room, and I'm okay with that, right? Hey, if I snore, if that's the worst thing I do, I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I am thinking about my next challenge. I'm working on that, and I'm ramping up to repeat my challenge. And now I'm at the point where, all right, I need a name. I just finished this last week, and I'm doing a Q&A session today of what I called the Live Thrive Challenge. And I only called it the Live Thrive Challenge because it rhymes and I didn't have another name. And what I'm doing in it is I'm teaching people how to set up and do their own challenges. And so I'm trying to think of what to call it and how to present it going forward, because I want to do it again in March and then bring people into working with me and my team. So I'm trying to think about, how do I present that? What do I call it to make it meet the needs of the people that I want to work with, that I can know that I can help the most. So I would love some input on that. You know, how do you teach people to overcome their own challenges? Sorry about my alarms. I thought I can't shut them all off every day. Sometimes I'm running late. Today I'm running late because I'm a blowhard and I'm talking too much. So thinking about my next challenge, I also want to, in the interim, do a personal challenge. I think I'm going to do a personal health challenge just to get back into, winter is a really hard time of year for me to be as active as I am in the summer. Well, spring, summer, and fall, I can be super active because I can just get outside and walk. Winter, I've had a bum knee, and so it's slippery and snowy and icy and cold, and so I don't get outside and walk as much as I should. So I'm trying to think of ways to counteract that. And as I moved, I downsized, I got rid of my exercise equipment, and I am kicking myself every day that I did that, because it's a lot easier to hop on the treadmill, the exercise bike, the elliptical, or something like that for 20 minutes to an hour than it is to like do floor exercises or yoga. My daughter's trying to get me into yoga, but I haven't found the love of it yet. I guess I'm not calm and zen enough for my yoga liking yet. So I'll practice that a little, see if I can get better at it. And yoga keeps her in tremendous shape, but she's also super duper active in the winter. She snowboards and does all kinds of outdoor winter stuff, so she's a lot more active. So yoga works for her to tone it up and round it out. Not working for me so well this winter, at least not this winter. And this is the first winter since 2010 that I haven't had my exercise equipment to actually keep me moving and active. And I just feel like it's sucking the energy out of me and getting more lethargic. And nobody wants to feel that way, especially when we're trying to learn and grow and have fun and keep up with 4-year-olds. So next challenge, name for a challenge, working on some graphics and some consistent, more professional looking things for my challenge, because although my podcast and my lives aren't particularly professional and polished because they're live, I want what I'm doing in my challenges to take it up a notch. I want it to be something that people are really excited and proud to be participating in, to be a part of. Because why? That helps to make them feel better, get more success, and increases their status, right? Every time we get a little win, that increases our status. Maybe not with everybody else, because people might not even know about it. All of my little successes and wins, I would say 99.99% of them, no one ever knows about, right? Except me, and I always know. You know, we can fool some of the people some of the time. We usually can't fool all of the people all of the time, but we can fool some of the people some of the time, but we can never fool ourselves. We can try to delude ourselves and brainwash ourselves and convince ourselves that something isn't the way it is, but the truth is, we always know. We always know inside of us if we're behaving consistently with who we really are or if we're not. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got today. Do you cut the mustard? Do you, in your opinion, cut the mustard in the different areas of your life? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, contribution, relationships, and financial. Are you, in your opinion, because that's the only one that counts, cutting the mustard? And you're the one that sets the standard. You're the one that sets the, when I make this amount of money, I'm financially cutting the mustard. When I have this set of circumstances and feelings in my relationships, then I'm cutting the mustard. That's up to you to decide. You define what success and capability is for you, right? Unless you're in a job and your boss says these are the requirements and I'm going to decide and judge whether you're meeting them or not, and then it matters, right? Then it's their opinion matters if you're cutting the mustard in that particular specific situation or not. That's it. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Ask a question. If you've got a question, ask it, right? Always ask that question. Ask for help. Ask for what you need. The worst that can happen is someone will say no. And if somebody says no, guess what? You ask somebody else. All right, that's enough pontificating for today. Have a great day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.